San Antonio starts right now.
And coming up, the first presidential debate this election is in the books. I'm Andrew Dimbert in Washington, D.C., recapping the latest.
And taking a look out with live cam this morning, it is 53 degrees, another cold morning. But what would we expect for the rest of the day? We're going to check in with Mike right now.
And good morning to you. It is Wednesday. It is September 30th.
Thanks for joining us this morning. That went by pretty quick. The month of September.
It sure did. Yeah, Mike is with us now. Mike, I know we were expecting cooler weather again this morning. In some spots to me, it actually felt cooler than yesterday morning.
Well, actually, right now it is, because right now we are at where we dropped down to eventually yesterday morning at 53 degrees. So we're not done cooling off as of yet. So we will get actually cooler. Yesterday, of course, was the coolest since way back on the 30th of April. And now we're looking at the coolest temperatures, again, here in town at the airport, the coolest back since the middle of April. So 53 here in town, 42 right now in Bulverde. Boy, if we're not done cooling off yet, there's a chance it could get in the upper 30s there. 44 in Comfort and 49 both Randolph as well as in Stinson. Mold is on the high side. That should be dropping down in the next couple of days, just given the fact we've got such dry air in place. And ragweed, moderate, pigweed, fall elm on the low side. And throughout the rest of today, again, I think we continue to drop down. And this may not be cool enough. 51 degrees, clear skies this morning, and then huge warm up. We gain about 35 degrees throughout the course of the day. Some areas are going to gain 40 degrees because the air is so dry out there and absolutely beautiful. Once again, it was so nice to be outside yesterday. This will be continuing. Subtle changes as we go in toward the weekend, but not anything dramatic. No rain, unfortunately, but just fantastic weather. So make some outdoor plans. Details coming up in just a couple of minutes. Time saver traffic right now on this Wednesday morning. A very good morning to Officer Marcus Trujillo.
Well, good morning to you, Mike, and good morning, everyone at home and those hoping to head home soon. Let's take a look at the roadways. Right now, you can see all green on the highway, so that's the great news. 35 at Thousand Oaks. So far, looking pretty good. However, it's still very early. Not quite time for that increase in the traffic all the way through the 35 Church Parkway area. Moving over to 281 Hildebrand, you can see north and southbound lanes, no issues. And right now, since the roads are dry, that curve, not a problem. Marcus, Stephanie.
Thank you very much, Marcus. New this morning, a detention deputy with Bexar County Sheriff's Office now under arrest.
Our Sarah Costa joins us this morning with the latest on this story. Good morning.
Good morning, and this broke early this morning. Just after midnight, the sheriff called a press conference to announce that one of their own deputies has been arrested after providing false information on a report. According to Sheriff Javier Salazar, the arrest is in connection with an in-custody suicide attempt that happened Monday at 3 p.m. The inmate was found with a sheet around his neck and unresponsive. As of this morning, the 48-year-old inmate is still alive after he was transported in critical condition to an area hospital. The arrested deputy is 48-year-old Sherman Andrews. Sheriff Salazar says the deputy falsified a report on a cell check where a prisoner attempted to hang himself in a cell. It was during an investigation after the event that Andrews admitted to investigators he lied on the report.
He did not perform complete checks on the inmate around the time of when we found him attempting suicide. However, he did indicate on his logs that he had completed the checks. And so the fact that he indicated that he had done the checks that we now know for a fact by his own admission that he had not led us to file a charge this evening of tampering with a governmental record.
The sheriff says the former Deputy Andrews, is now being charged with tampering with government documents. Mark and Stephanie.
Thank you, Sarah. The first presidential debate is now in the books. The much anticipated showdown between President Trump and former Vice President Joe Biden was showcased by constant interruptions and personal attacks.
ABC's Andrew Dimbert is in Washington, D.C. with a recap.
Debate night in America.
Gentlemen, a lot of people have been waiting for this night.
The coronavirus making this one unlike any other in U.S. history. The candidates socially distanced. There were no handshakes, but plenty of political punches.
The question is, radical left. Will you shut up, man? Listen, who is on your list?
President Donald Trump and Joe Biden struggled throughout the night to break through and make their pitch to voters. The debate derailed at several turns. The questions often sidelined and unanswered. crowd. And as expected, things got nasty. Biden and Trump slinging insults.
You're the worst president America has ever had.
Hey,
Come
Joe,
on.
there's nothing smart about you, Joe.
The president unleashing a barrage of attacks on Biden, interrupting him and moderator Chris Wallace repeatedly.
Of Obamacare, I got rid of it.
I'd like you
and we
to,
will protect
Mr.
people
President,
with
I'm the
pre-existing
moderator of this
conditions.
debate, and I would like you to let me ask my question.
I guess I'm debating you, not him, but that's okay.
Trump and Biden also at odds over the response to the COVID crisis.
If we would have listened to you, the country would have been left wide open. Millions of people would have died, not 200,000.
Look, you folks at home, how many of you got up this morning and had an empty chair at the kitchen table because someone died of COVID?
And on race relations and nationwide protests, when pressed to condemn white supremacist groups, the president wavered.
What are you saying?
I'm willing to do anything. I want to see
Well,
peace.
then do it, sir.
Say it. Do it. Say it.
Do you want to call him? What do you want to call him? Give me a name. Give me a
White
name.
supremacists and
Who would
white
you like me to condemn?
White supremacists and right
Proud
militia.
Boys, stand back and stand by.
And the night ended on the topic of election integrity. Wallace asking both Trump and Biden if they would hold off on declaring victory until the results of the election are independently certified. President Trump deflected. Biden, meanwhile, says he will accept the outcome of this election even if he does not win. Andrew Dimbert, ABC News, Washington.
And here at home, one San Antonio family making people driving by their home take a second look at their bipartisan yard on San Antonio Avenue. Several signs for both President Donald Trump and former Vice President Joe Biden can be seen. Family members say even though they support different parties, it is all about getting along and having respect for each other during disagreements.
At the end of the day, we all go to sleep the same way. And at the beginning of the day, we all put our pants on the same way.
We're all entitled to our own expressions and opinions. And at the end of the day, that is my nephew. And we sit down to dinner, he's still my nephew, even though, we'll argue a little bit of the, what's going on, that's part of it.
And at the end of the debate, both family members say they were pleased with their candidate's performance.
In your morning headlines, U.S. House of Representatives has passed a resolution reaffirming its commitment to an orderly transfer of power following the presidential election. The measure enjoyed widespread bipartisan support, passing with 397 yay votes and only 5 nays. Comes after President Trump refused to commit to a peaceful transfer of power if he loses the election. The Republican-led Senate passed a similar resolution last week. Democratic candidate Joe Biden is currently beating President Trump in some polls, but similar polls also showed Hillary Clinton leading the president in 2016.
The U.S. is considering closing its embassy in Baghdad. That's if Iranian-backed militia attacks on U.S. personnel do not subside. The threat has been reiterated to Iraqi leaders. Officials say shuttering the embassy, which is America's largest in the region, could be viewed as giving control to Iran. On the other hand, one former top official says it could be a way of forcing Iraq to step up its security efforts. The U.S. is expected to make a decision on the embassy's status in the coming weeks. Any changes would require briefings to Congress.
Right now it's 4:30 53 degrees.
And still ahead on GMSA, the heiress to the Seagram's liquor fortune is appearing in court and is set to be sentenced for her role inside the so-called Nexium.
And next, deadly wildfires in California continue to overwhelm fire crews as hundreds of thousands of acres burn.
And taking a look outside with live cam this morning, it is 53 degrees. It is nice and chilly. Enjoy this weather. It will warm up a bit, but pretty nice overall. We're going to check in with Mike for the full details.
Now to the state of emergency in Northern California. At least 3 dead in one of 27 major wildfires.
In response, about 50 firefighters from San Antonio, Austin, and surrounding areas are now on the front lines. ABC's Kana Whitworth has more.
New video showing the explosive conditions on the front lines of the glass fire. A sheriff's lieutenant using a garden hose to stop this home from catching fire. Flames now racing through areas that haven't burned in more than a century.
This is the kind of terrain they're dealing with, and what they're doing right now is they're saying they're blackening the line. They're creating a defensive space between the fire and a home that's just about 25 yards this way.
The fire forcing the entire town of Calistoga to evacuate overnight.
We moved up here about 4 years ago. And since 17, every year, horrible fires.
At least 80 homes destroyed in Napa and Sonoma counties. Iconic wine country destinations not spared either. Multiple wineries damaged or destroyed. North of here, in Shasta County, the Zog fire chewing through more than 60 square miles, claiming at least 3 lives.
You can see these helicopters here right behind me. They're dropping hundreds of gallons of water at a time. They're trying to protect these homes and this vineyard. Dozers are also here cutting line. These are incredible resources for these firefighters. Some of them have been on the front lines here for months. This is the worst fire season we've had in a century, and we haven't even hit peak fire season yet. Kana Whitworth, ABC News, Angling, California.
443, 53 degrees.
And still ahead, do you need an energy boost this morning? Well,
Yes.
I sure do. You too? We'll tell you which foods can give you some extra energy and help you fight fatigue.
And more details on the heiress to the Seagram's liquor fortune, who is set to be sentenced today for her role inside a notorious sex cult.
In this morning's GMA First Look, sentencing day for the Seagram's heiress. Claire Bromfman, heiress to the Seagram's liquor fortune, is appearing in court, set to be sentenced for her role inside the so-called cult NXIVM. According to prosecutors, the 41-year-old, whose father, a philanthropist and former beverage tycoon, was worth billions before his passing, quote, used her extraordinary wealth and social status to fund and promote a criminal enterprise led by NXIVM founder Keith Raniere.
Why is it that I can have a relationship with multiple women for a long time?
Prosecutors say Raniere, who is the focus of HBO documentary The Vow, was a con man and a predator who took advantage of women, allegedly recruiting some into a secret society within the group to be his slaves and have sex with him. And coming up at 7 a.m., we'll have more details from court, plus why Claire Bromfman still supports NXIVM founder Keith Raniere. With your GMA First Look, I'm Mona Kosar-Abdi, ABC News, New York.
Between working from home and managing kids and new routines, doesn't leave a lot of time for parents to take care of themselves.
No, it doesn't. And 12 on your side's Marilyn Morris shows us which foods can help fight fatigue.
As for a lot of folks, the past months have been exhausting for Jessica Ordonez.
I have to make sure everyone is fed and eating and has enough sleep. They're getting bathed, do the laundry, do the cooking, do the cleaning.
And she works from home. Extra stress, overeating and drinking, lack of exercise, and even boredom can take a toll.
A lot of days I do feel a little exhausted.
The good news is there's an easy way to fight fatigue with nutrition. So here are some foods known to boost your energy. Carbohydrates, but do yourself a favor and pick the ones that fight fatigue. Choose slow carbs like whole grains, legumes, and fruits and veggies that are full of nutrients and fiber.
Carbs supply glucose. Slow carbs release glucose steadily, whereas the refined carbs in white flour and sugar can cause glucose spikes and crashes, and that can make you feel tired.
Another energy booster is protein. High-quality sources include lean meats, poultry, fish, nuts, beans, soy, and eggs. If you're not getting good sleep, you may be dehydrated. A guideline for men is 15.5 cups of fluid a day, and for women, 11.5. Food with high water content counts. And caffeine can sabotage your sleep, so lay off the coffee 6 hours before bedtime. Marilyn Moritz, KSAT 12 News.
6 hours?
Yeah, we could do that.
We've got to do the reverse math now. It's okay.
I think it's okay, yeah.
448, let's check traffic right now. How are things looking out there, Officer Trujillo?
And that's 6 hours at one time, not 6 hours including your nap.
Ah, okay. Thanks for the tip.
That's the key to it. It has to be sequential. Right now, as we take a look at the roadways, still no problems there. 281 Hildebrand, I-10 Dominion. So far, east and westbound lanes look great with no problems there. 37 at Pecan Valley. So hopefully we'll be able to get over the hump middle of the week with no accidents.
Thanks, Marcus.
Well, what helps get over the hump is the weather we've been having.
It's very nice.
Yeah, I mean, yesterday was so beautiful to be outside. Today, tomorrow, next day. And look at this picture. Now that's a sunrise. And that's whatever. And you're going to be seeing that again this morning. Now that's a sunrise because it is going to be every bit as beautiful. Thank you so much for the KSAT Connect picture. And nothing obviously showing up yet, but what was it, about 6:30 6:30 yesterday, 6:45 or so. We started to see that glow of the pre-sunrise, if you will, and that's what we'll be seeing this morning. It's already cooler this morning than what it was yesterday. Yesterday we did bottom out at 53, but that was when it was all said and done. So we're going to continue to cool off a little bit more. Bulverde's at 44, 43 Comfort, and 49 right now. Stinson and Randolph. Boy, it's nice out there. And the reason is the air is so dry, and because dry air doesn't hold the heat in as well. And we could cool down to 39 degrees as of right now. We're not, I don't think going to, but I think we drop down a few more degrees in the next couple of hours. And also we will see the humidity stay on the low side throughout the day. So it's going to warm up very quickly. So let's talk about off the top of the show. We're going to gain about 30, 35, some areas 40 degrees between the low and the high this morning. And that'll be the situation basically tomorrow as well. So we are going to be seeing the dew points start to creep up a little bit more. I mean, still very comfortable. Then we get into Saturday and Sunday. Not bad at all. Nothing to complain about, just not as dry air as what we have right now with these dew points hovering right around 60. That's the threshold. Then it'll drop down a little bit, which this is the indication that we have a couple little fronts that are going to try and slide on through here. Nothing like what we just had, but just sort of little reinforcing shots and preventing us from getting too awfully warm. Now, we've got a lot of dry air upstairs in the atmosphere as well, so that's why we've got those vivid shades of blue, and that will once again be the case today. Around the country, the only thing really showing up, that big low up there around the Great Lakes. That's what helped pull down the cooler weather for us, and a lot of rain off to the east. But this is what's in store the next couple of days. Nothing. Which, good news, bad news. Fantastic weather. Bad news, no rain in store. Maybe once again by the mid to later part of next week if everything works out as planned. 78 degrees today at noon. Sunny skies. Absolutely sensational day. It was nice to open up the windows yesterday. 86 for a high temperature. And tomorrow we are going to be starting off on the chilly side again. Not quite as cool, mid-50s, and then upper 50s on Friday. Thursday, tomorrow, we are going to be topping off upper 80s. We'll see some low 90s around the area. Then a little bit of a reinforcing shot, a minor kind of front coming through here Friday. Same thing Sunday into Monday. We start to peak again Sunday and just kind of take the edge off a little bit going into the first part of next week.
Okay, well, the last couple days, and I'm sure today, been absolutely delightful around here, Mike.
Perfect.
Nice.
Yeah, perfect. Right now, 452, 53 degrees.
And Disney's remake of The Lion King could be getting a sequel or a prequel. More details next.
Disney's remake of The Lion King could be getting a sequel soon.
For the latest on what's happening in Hollywood, here's ABC's Jason Nathanson.
This is the year of women's liberation.
A very timely movie out today, The Glorias, which follows the life of feminist icon Gloria Steinem and her role in fighting for equal rights for women. And Steinem says the film couldn't come at a better time.
It's about a movement, and a movement is what we continue to need. And it also shows the reality of the women's movement, which meant that it was disproportionately women of color and especially black women.
But she says those women of color rarely got their due at the time, and the film helps correct that. The Glorias is out today on Amazon Prime Video. DaBaby pulling up at the BET Hip Hop Awards with the most nominations, 12, including making history as the first artist with 2 entries for Album of the Year for Kirk and Blame It on Baby. The show airs October 27th. The recent Lion King remake earned over $1.5 billion at the box office, so of course it's getting a sequel, actually a prequel, which will be directed by Oscar-winning Moonlight director Barry Jenkins. No word yet on storyline or when we'll see it.
Wife not his daughter, wife not daughter.
And happy birthday to Emmy-winning Veep actor Tony Hale. He's 50 today, while Grammy-winning rapper T-Pain is 35.
Anytime, anywhere.
And that's what's happening in Hollywood. I'm Jason Nathanson, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Now 456, 53 degrees.
And still ahead in our next half hour, fireworks and drama unfold during the first presidential debate between President Donald Trump and Democratic nominee Joe Biden. We're going to have the highlights.
Plus, if you're ready for an upgrade, Google is about ready to launch several new products today, including the Pixel 5. We have details just ahead in Tech Bites.
Live from KSAT 12. Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
Making headlines this morning, good, bad, or otherwise, it was an action-packed night at the first presidential debate of the 2020 election season. We'll have a recap just ahead.
And police and neighbors reacting to a shooting on the northeast side.
And outside with live cam, if you liked yesterday morning, you're going to love today. Temperatures at or maybe even a tad below where we were yesterday. Good morning, everybody. It is Wednesday. It is September 30th.
That's right. Thanks for joining us. 52 degrees right now. I think when we got here yesterday was about 55, but still nice and cool for those of you who like the cool weather.
How much of a warm up today, Mike?
Huge warm up. I mean, we're going to gain about 35, 30 degrees a lot. We're going to get about 35, some cases almost 40 degrees. Yes, we are cooler than yesterday. Even right now, of course, we're cooler, but yesterday we finished off at 53, and right now we are at 52 degrees, so the coolest since way back in the middle of April. First of all, hang on, before I do all the graphics, and I was looking at that, and I couldn't tell which direction this camera was pointing. This is over there at 410, pointing off to the west, and that is the moon right there on the very edge of that screen. That's it's technically full tomorrow. Absolutely beautiful out there. And boy, what a fantastic morning. Yeah, 52 degrees. Yesterday, like I said, we dropped down to 53 officially. And the reason for this is the very, very dry air and huge warm up. So we gain about 35, like I said, close to 40 degrees in some cases, and low humidity. Just an absolutely fantastic day. Now, the aquifer did drop down again about 0.6 of a foot yesterday, and unfortunately that's going to continue to be the case because we don't have anything as far as any rainfall. Mold is high. That should start to go down just given the fact we've got such dry air in place. Ragweed moderate, a little bit of pigweed, and fall elm. And again, the reason for all this beautiful, beautiful weather is the fact that the air is just bone dry with these dew points well down in the 30s, 20s, a couple of low 40s around here. And this is going to be sticking around throughout the day, but these numbers will start to creep up a little bit as we go in toward the weekend. Not like you're going to start to sweat this weekend, but it won't be as cool and crisp in the mornings. Still fantastic though. So cool, clear, wonderful this morning. Sunny, mid and some upper 80s later on today. Fantastic day. And then tomorrow, another chilly start, another beautiful day. A little bit warmer in the afternoon, and we've got a couple minor fronts moving on through here just to hold temperatures in check. Overall, great forecast. Details coming up. Time saver traffic right now, and Officer Marcus Trujillo. Anything going on, sir?
Well, right now, Mike, as we take a look at the roadways, it's still looking pretty good out there. So with dry roads and not too much traffic, things look great. 410 in San Pedro, you can see eastbound and westbound lanes, not too bad on the inner loop. Just remember, buckle up once you head out today. Mark and Stephanie.
New this morning, a detention deputy with the Bexar County Sheriff's Office is under arrest. Sheriff Salazar announcing that arrest just after midnight last night.
Our Sarah Costa joins us this morning with the latest on this story. And Sarah, has Sheriff Salazar released the deputy's name?
Yes, that deputy is 48-year-old Sherman Andrews, who has been with the Bexar County Sheriff's Office since 2017. According to Sheriff Javier Salazar, the arrest is in connection with an in-custody suicide attempt that happened Monday around 3 p.m. The inmate was found with a sheet around his neck and unresponsive. As of this morning, the 48-year-old inmate is still alive after he was transported in critical condition to an area hospital. Sheriff Salazar says the deputy falsified a report on a cell check where the prisoner attempted to hang himself in the cell. It was during an investigation after the event. Andrews admitted to investigators he lied on the report, saying he had done his checks on the inmate, later admitting he did not do all of his required cell checks. Sheriff Salazar says he is not happy about the situation. However, he is proud his deputies stepped up to do what needed to be done.
Although, as I mentioned before, this is a distasteful part of what we do, but it's something that we demand of ourselves because the public demands it of us, and certainly they deserve to have an agency that does hold ourselves accountable if need be.
Well, the sheriff says the deputy in question, Deputy Sherman Andrews, is now charged with tampering with government documents. At this time, the sheriff's office has not provided us with his mugshot. Mark and Stephanie.
Thank you, Sarah. The first presidential debate of the 2020 election season, delivering fireworks and drama as both candidates at times lob personal attacks at each other.
CNN's Mary Maloney reports on the major moments from Cleveland.
Question is
a clash of policy and personalities in Cleveland.
Will you shut up, man?
Listen,
This is so
He's going to pack the
unprecedented.
court. There's nothing smart about you, Joe.
President Donald Trump and Democratic nominee Joe Biden squaring off in their first face-to-face matchup this election.
Everything he's saying so far is simply a lie.
I've done more than you've done in 47 years, Joe.
An opportunity for each candidate to paint their opponent as wholly unfit to lead the nation.
He wants to shut down this country, and I want to keep it open.
The president has no plan.
Moderator Chris Wallace challenging the candidates on 6 topics during the 90-minute event, including the Supreme Court.
We should wait and see what the outcome of this election is.
We have a phenomenal nominee.
COVID-19.
The president has no plan.
We got the masks. We made the ventilators. You wouldn't have made ventilators. And now we're weeks away from a vaccine.
I know how to do the job.
The economy.
We closed it down, and now we're reopening, and we're doing record business.
He's going to be the first president of the United States to leave office having fewer jobs in his administration than when he became president.
Race and violence in our cities.
This is a president who has used everything as a dog whistle to try to generate racist hatred, racist division.
We believe in law and order, but you don't.
And election integrity.
If it's a fair election, I am 100% on board.
I will accept it, and he will too.
President Trump also facing new scrutiny over a recent New York Times report showing he paid no income tax in 10 of 15 years, beginning in 2000.
I paid millions of dollars in taxes.
In Cleveland, I'm Mary Maloney.
And here at home, more than 400 new coronavirus cases were listed in the latest report for Bexar County. A little more than 200 of those cases happened between September 15th to the 23rd. The new numbers increased our 7-day average to 178. 5 more deaths were confirmed. 230 COVID-19 patients are in the hospital. 81 are in the intensive care unit, and 29 are on ventilators.
A neighbor in northeast San Antonio concerned after a shooting happened behind his home. San Antonio police called for the shooting around 3 o'clock yesterday afternoon near the intersection of Ridham and Gibbs Sprawl Roads. Chief William McManus says when an officer arrived, he found a man outside a car with a bullet wound to the chest. The chief says it started at a Circle K parking lot and ended at a nearby intersection.
Witnesses reported seeing an individual running through the field down here with a silver handgun. We've also found another handgun in the field.
This area is just getting kind of bad right now. I've actually seen numerous of things happen within the last few months here. They're always shooting through this intersection constantly.
Now, crime data shows this year there have been 11 aggravated assaults and 1 murder in a 1-mile radius from where this shooting happened. Chief McManus says the wounded man was taken to a hospital.
San Antonio police and Crime Stoppers need your help solving a murder case that happened back on September 24th of 2009. Police say a friend found 31-year-old Evaristo Sierra dead from a gunshot wound at a home in the 12,000 block of Maverick Bluff. Investigators say a 4-door gold-colored vehicle was seen leaving that location at a high rate of speed with several men inside. That vehicle and the men have not been found, and police are unsure at this time if they are involved in that murder. If you have any information, you can call Crime Stoppers at number 210-224-STOP.
507, 52 degrees.
And still ahead, Amazon is unveiling new biometric technology that lets you pay at stores by just using your hand. Plus,
the Halloween season is upon us, but could COVID actually scare it off the calendar? I'm Katrina Weber. I'll have that story.
And another morning on the cool side out there as we take a look at downtown San Antonio. We're wrapping up the month of September. We'll look ahead to October coming up with Mike Osterhage. 5:11, well, it's just about the time of year for little ghosts and goblins to come out. This year, though, we didn't have to wait for Halloween to be scared.
No, we didn't. The coronavirus pandemic has made for some uncertain days. And as Katrina Weber shows us, it also has added uncertainty to some people's Halloween activities.
Onward to the afterlife.
It's all fun and games for this glowing-eyed guy with Halloween ahead. But based on business at some costume stores, it seems others may not be ready to celebrate yet.
I've talked to other people with other stores, and they're saying scheduling about 30% less.
Lynn Saunders started dressing up her Hocus Pocus shop on Austin Highway back in January. Like others in the business, she expected big things this Halloween.
It falls on a Saturday, it's a full moon, and it's daylight savings.
Scary times, though, came early this year in the form of the coronavirus.
Infectious area ahead.
Chasing away some customers and putting a chill on trick-or-treating.
Probably not this year. Right, Judith, not this year? Because of the COVID?
We'll still dress up and everything, but we won't go out on the streets, no.
Get some candy, play some games, stay at home, close to home, because I think it's safer that way.
For those who are still in the spirit, though, it has sparked a creative streak. Some are designing ways to give out candy social distance style. Precautions are still a priority. Masks are always part of the season, and this year even more so thanks to COVID. But the CDC says it's not a good idea to double up. Instead, wear only a Halloween-themed face mask to stay safe. Back at her family shop, Saunders is hoping for success.
This is San Antonio. Everybody loves to party. They find a way to do it safely.
She's holding out for a pleasant October surprise. Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
And the National Costume Association has put together some tips for staying safe while celebrating Halloween during the pandemic. For more information, you can go to halloween2020.org.
Now 13 minutes past the hour, 52 degrees.
And still ahead, Google is showing off some of its new devices today. We're going to have a preview of the Pixel 5 and more.
And would you use this? Amazon making it possible for customers to pay at their stores by using just their hands. More details next.
To me, the A in Chick-fil-A is for available. We can serve you in the drive-thru. We can deliver your food to your house. We have delivery partners and we have our own delivery system. Home can be wherever you choose. You don't need to go anywhere else. On Sunday, maybe, but that's about it.
The A in Chick-fil-A stands for a connection. Having the opportunity to have a positive connection with the guest, I think is really cool. It is kind of a fun challenge to try to make that person's day. I don't know, it just makes life better. Like, why not?
So ashamed I overpaid for this used car. I've decided to go undercover. Guess I picked the wrong used car site.
Remember, if you don't see me, you're not seeing the most accurate price. Shop at Carfax. You won't have to overpay on a used car again.
Hey, Bob.
Oh, my. Hey, Beth, how we feeling?
Good.
Yep.
Moving.
Shop millions of great deals, all with a free Carfax report. Only at the all-new Carfax.com.
It's exactly 5:17. Google expects to unveil several new products today. ABC's Mona Kosar Abdi has details in today's Tech Bites.
In today's Tech Bites, Google's big reveals. The company's all-virtual event today is expected to unveil several new products, including a new smartphone, the Google Pixel 5. Other items set to be formally rolled out are a new smart speaker and a streaming device. And the new Amazon One will allow you to pay at Amazon stores using just your palm. To register, users will insert a payment card and have their hand scanned. For every purchase after that, just your palm print will make the purchase. Amazon hopes to sell the technology to other retailers. Rolls-Royce has completed testing the technology to use on its electronically powered planes. The luxury car brand is hoping one of its new planes will break speed records. The goal is to produce zero emissions planes and engines for other plane makers and to be net zero by 2050. Those are your Tech Bites. Have a great day.
Time to get an update on time saver traffic.
How's it looking, Marcus?
Well, it's still looking pretty good out there. This is 410 San Pedro. You see no issues there. Moving on to I-10 at the Dominion, east and westbound lanes have more than enough room out there at this point. As we continue on to some other parts of the city, like here in the downtown area, 35 of San Marcos north and southbound lanes have no issues there. Few more vehicles there. I-10 and Probant, that just skirts the south part of the downtown area. So east and westbound lanes along I-10 just a little bit more crowded. However, no delays in anyone's travel times.
Thank you, Marcus. Mike, we started out September on a hot note, but it has ended on a very nice note weather-wise.
Yeah, coolest temperatures since the middle of April. We're at 52 right now, and we're probably not done cooling off as of yet. We'll still drop a couple of more degrees. Beautiful, beautiful picture of the moon. Technically, it is not full until tomorrow, but oh, that's darn nice looking. And that's the picture, and this is what it looks like looking off to the west. It is slowly dropping down. It's going to be setting fairly shortly, but wow, I mean, I was looking at that earlier. I was like, what in the world? I was like, yep, that's the moon out there. So just fantastic. Beautiful moon viewing weather this time of year because we've got such clear skies and dry air up there. So 84 degrees yesterday, which was obviously a nice warm up. We started off at 53, so we gained 30 degrees. But today we're going to be going for about 86 high temperature. Mid and some upperish 80s around the area. And given the fact we're starting off even cooler, a bigger span in temperatures. So we're looking at about 35 degrees on average, maybe some areas close to 40 degrees from the low to the high this morning. Temperatures around the country, we are actually cooler than what it is in Minneapolis, Chicago, Bismarck at 50 as of right now. So a lot of the country is just enjoying really, really nice fall temperatures, and it will be sticking around. So basically, since we are in the below normal side, way below normal, we're going to just kind of get back up to normal readings once we get in toward basically Friday as well as into the weekend. And then we'll have a series of some little fronts moving through here, just sort of hold temperatures in check to keep us from getting too hot. I mean, there will be a couple of warmer afternoons, but still overall just great weather. So we've got this nice northwesterly flow in the atmosphere. That's what brought down the cooler air. Tomorrow is going to be the warmest day of the next couple of days, and we get another little reinforcing shot of some cool air. Basically, we keep this northwesterly flow. That's the overall upper air pattern, and so that's going to keep a lot of sunshine around here, maybe a couple of clouds in the morning once we get in toward the weekend because we'll have a little bit more humidity around here. But just like I said, overall fantastic, and this whole pattern doesn't really change that much in through the weekend, first part of next week. Now, once we get into next week, we will still be seeing some nice weather to start off. What we're looking for, though, is by the middle to the latter portion of next week, this low trying to scoot across the southern portion of the Gulf of Mexico. And right now it looks like that would be pretty much our first rain chance by Wednesday, Thursday, as it's looking at this time. This low developing here looks like it's going to be caught up in the upper level winds and taken off to the east. So that's not going to affect us at all. So we're going to hope for this one to give us a little chance of rain because we are, well, right now for the month of September, we're right on par where we should be, just over 3 inches of rain, but there is nothing in the forecast. 78 degrees today at noon, sunny skies, high temperature today, mid to some upper 80s, going for 86 out there at the airport. Absolutely delightful. It won't be as cool, still going to be chilly tomorrow morning, still jacket weather, and for some folks, that's going to be the case on Friday morning. Low 60s starting off over the weekend, just a pinch more humidity.
A pinch?
A pinch. You know, not enough to make it, walk outside and go, it's humid, but just enough to keep those low temperatures in the 60s and high temperatures mid 80s.
Always goes back to cooking, almost like a pinch of salt.
A skosh,
just a
skosh, smidge.
We said tad earlier.
Yeah, yep. And we can handle that just a little bit. Yeah.
Exactly.
Thank you, Michael. Right now, 522, 52 degrees.
And coming up next in your morning spotlight, the latest on Zac Efron's new movie role, which is a new adaptation of Stephen King's novel Firestarter.
Big three numbers, 471, Fireball 8. Your daily four numbers are 6, 7, 0, 2 with a fireball of 3.
Cash 5, we have 1, 10, 14, 21, 23. And your Mega Millions, 14, 39, 43, 44, 67, Mega Ball 19, Mega Plier 3. Good luck.
Today in entertainment news, 2 movies are getting reboots.
Plus, Hollywood's new movie museum gets a rare collection from before there were movies. CNN's David Daniel has details in the Hollywood Minute.
There's aspects, I've heard about it.
Zac Efron is heating up. He's set to star in a new adaptation of Stephen King's novel Firestarter, about a girl with pyrokinetic powers. David Keith and a young Drew Barrymore starred in the first film version back in 1984.
This is all just a little crazy. Half the battle of having powers is believing you do. That's why covens have always been important.
A new generation is getting into witchcraft. Here's your first look at The Craft Legacy. The supernatural thriller appears on demand October 28th, just in time for Halloween. The new Academy Museum of Motion Pictures will feature more than movies. It's received a collection of pre-cinematic visual entertainment. The more than 9,000 objects, including magic lanterns, shadow theaters, zoetropes, and more, will be included in an inaugural exhibition at the Academy Museum, which is slated to open its doors April 30th, 2021. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Zoetropes, of course, is the name of Francis Ford Coppola's production company, American Zoetrope.
Oh, I didn't know that.
The old machine. 527, 52 degrees.
And still ahead in our next half hour, more information from the Breonna Taylor grand jury is expected to be made public soon.
Plus, the future of one of San Antonio's oldest public housing complexes in limbo, thanks to plans for redevelopment. We'll take a look at what is next for the Alazan Apache courts.
Plus, a closer look at why health experts say they've seen a rise in eating disorders since the pandemic started.
Good morning to you. It is Wednesday, and if you're ready to put September in the books and welcome October, just wait.
That's right. Good news for you. And also good news if you missed the nice weather yesterday, didn't really get a chance to get outside, you can do that again today.
It's nice and cool yet again, but Mike says get ready to crank the AC back up.
Well, yeah, in the afternoons, but still it's going to be low humidity, so you might be able to get away without cranking the AC. We are going to be in the upper 80s, pardon me, and some low 90s around the area in the next few afternoons. But like I said, you might be able to, kind of shut things off for a while there. What a beautiful view. Clear skies, and that is technically not quite full yet. It's going to be full tomorrow, but what a beautiful view of the moon out there. And temperatures right now, we're at 52 degrees here in town, which is actually cooler than yesterday. Yesterday we ended up bottoming out at 53. So that's the coolest temperature in San Antonio since way back the middle of April. Cincinnati 50, 49 right now at Kelly, and actually Randolph went up 1 degree at 50. And throughout the rest of today, going to be absolutely beautiful. 78 at noon, so huge warm up throughout the morning hours, and then we get up to 86. So when you do the math, we're going to be gaining about roughly 35 degrees. Some areas going to be gaining about 40 degrees throughout the course of the day. And the beautiful temperatures, great weather is going to continue. Subtle changes as we go in toward the weekend, but still very nice to make some outdoor plans. Details coming up in just a couple of minutes. Time saver traffic right now. Here's Officer Marcus Trujillo. You haven't had much up to this point. Anything?
The commute's been great so far, Mike. So for those folks that are getting ready to hit the roads, take a look at TransGuide right now. 37 at Southeast Military. So far, no problems. All the way through 37 at Hackberry. The north and southbound lanes look great out there, all the way through Pecan Valley now. So really, you will have a great time out there on the roadway. No distractions, nothing to slow you down. Just watch that speed limit and make sure you buckle up as you head out this morning. Stephanie?
Thank you, Marcus.
Late breaking news this morning. San Antonio police are investigating a break-in at an ATM on the city's north side.
This is happening in the 2300 block of Northwest Military. Our Katrina Weber is live there now. Good morning, Katrina.
Good morning. Well, police are saying that they know about this thanks to a passerby who was alert and called them right away. Now, there's a lot of damage done to this ATM here. This is the 2300 block of Northwest Military. A lot of damage done to the outside, but it looks like the burglars did not get inside. We had a chance to speak to the passerby. That truck driver was delivering gasoline to a nearby station. He noticed, he says, a white pickup here with two men. One of them had a crowbar and the other appeared to be wrapping a chain around the machine, he says. He called 911 immediately. We're right on the city limits line practically with Castle Hills and San Antonio Police. So his call was relayed at first to Castle Hills Police, who then notified SAPD. Police got here right away. They had a description of the truck. They had a direction in which it was headed, but they say that they were not able to track down that truck or the people inside. They believe it is a white, possibly Ford or Chevy pickup with 2 or 3 people inside. That was the truck. That was the description that was given by the witness here. But again, thanks to his quick eye and quick actions, police were able to get here before the burglars had a chance to get inside the machine. Reporting live on the north side, Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
Thank you, Katrina. More information in the Breonna Taylor killing may soon be released to the public. Audio from the grand jury presentation is expected to be included with the case file starting later today.
As CNN's John Lawrence reports, protesters were upset that 2 officers were found to be justified in using force.
Nationwide protests on behalf of Breonna Taylor, the emergency medical technician fatally shot in her home in March during a police raid in Louisville, Kentucky.
Why is this black woman killed in the sanctity of her own apartment? That is the question her mother has been asking since the first day this tragedy happened.
Some possible answers might be available soon. Kentucky Attorney General Daniel Cameron says he'll comply with the judge's ruling that orders an audio recording of the grand jury presentation be made available to the public.
Breonna Taylor's family is relieved because it's a step forward. We understand the journey for justice is awfully a long journey, but this is a good step forward.
This announcement comes after a grand juror filed a motion requesting that all related material from the grand jury presentation be released.
My client wants to make sure that anything that happened in there becomes something of public knowledge to the extent it's legally allowed to.
Incoming interim Louisville Metro Police Chief Yvette Gentry says the public deserves transparency.
People want to know from the moment there was an affidavit presented to the execution of the warrant in which Breonna died unto the supervision. There's a whole lot of questions.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
7 airlines are getting bigger slices of the $25 billion pie that the federal government is offering to loan them. The larger amounts are because both Delta and Southwest are not taking the loans. Those 2 airlines say they've been able to arrange financing in the private market instead. That means Alaska, American Frontier, JetBlue, Hawaiian, SkyWest, and United Airlines will get more money. Tens of thousands of airline employees are expected to be furloughed starting tomorrow when government payroll support for carriers ends. Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin is asking Congress to extend that program.
Hubble Space Telescope captured this amazing photo of a spiral galaxy about 60 million light years away from Earth. The photo is so stunningly clear that astronomers with the telescope made it their picture of the week. Scientists say it's been the site of a supernova. That's when a star becomes extremely bright, then explodes, lighting up part of the galaxy with its energy.
And time now is 5:36 and 52 degrees for now.
Still ahead on GMSA, thanks to redevelopment here in San Antonio, the future of one of the oldest public housing complexes in the entire country is up in the air.
And IHOP is getting its very own happy hour. We're going to tell you what that means for pancake lovers.
Grab a jacket again this morning, especially out in the Texas Hill Country. Mike will get us updated on morning lows and a big swing in temperatures later on today. You're watching GMSA. San Antonio is actually home to one of the oldest public housing complexes in the country, Alazan Apache Courts. But the future of the courts very much in limbo thanks for plans to redevelop the area.
As part of a preview, Myra Arthur breaks down the reason we've seen a shift away from public housing and toward mixed income over the past several years.
The U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development is moving away from creating communities like the Alazan Apache Courts that have such a high concentration of public housing units.
We look to do now mixed income. And so now you've got a wide variety of income levels living on the same property with the same quality units and modern amenities that are given to you and I.
Mixed income means some tenants pay the market rate rent, while others pay a percentage of that rate based on their income. It's an idea that came about in the 1970s and 80s.
And one of the ideas that gains a lot of traction is that a lot of these social problems were due to what we today call isolated poverty or concentrated poverty. Right? And so it said that, so the thinking was that because the poor and low income had begun to live fairly isolated from areas of middle class or of wealth, they no longer shared some of the social values of kind of middle class society. And so this kind of what in the literature is called delinquency had set in.
Saha sees the idea as one that creates opportunity. Mixed income development also serves another purpose: revenue. Saha says it doesn't receive enough money from the federal government to sustain public housing and keep it maintained. There's also a boost in it for developers. They get tax incentives to build mixed income properties.
The states award these tax incentives. And it is about trying to incent private developers whose it's really not in their best interest to build at these rates because there's just no profit. There's no profit margin. So how do we get them to do it is that we have to subsidize it somehow.
So the question is, do mixed income developments solve the problems they were created to address? Decades after the concept came about, the answer still being looked at.
That's really been shown not to happen, right? Instead, we're still plagued with intergenerational poverty.
Myra Arthur, KSAT 12 News.
And KSAT explains the battle over the Alazan Apache courts will be available to stream on demand starting tomorrow. You can watch on the KSAT TV app, on Roku, Fire Stick, and most other smart TV devices.
542, 52 degrees.
Coming up next, why experts are concerned about the rise in eating disorders since the pandemic and what you can do if you need help.
545, eating disorders have the second highest mortality rate of any psychiatric diagnosis, outranked only by opioid use disorders.
And this morning we are talking about why experts say they have been seeing a rise in eating disorders since the pandemic started.
Experts are concerned about the rise in eating disorders since the pandemic. According to NPR, hotline calls to the National Eating Disorders Association are up 70 to 80%. For many people, experts say eating is a form of control. It's a coping mechanism tied to stress. Food scarcity and stockpiling behavior can trigger anxieties about eating or overeating. The CEO of the National Eating Disorders Association says eating disorders have a strong link to trauma. And according to a survey in the International Journal of Eating Disorders, 62% of people in the U.S. with anorexia say their symptoms worsened when the pandemic hit. Christine Pete, co-author of the study, says some people's symptoms worsened because they had a lack of structure, social support, and lived in a triggering environment. They say working from home has also caused some people to binge eat food since it's more accessible to them during all times of the day.
Now, experts say one of the best forms of treatment is therapy or telehealth appointments. In your morning consumer headlines, Disney laying off tens of thousands of workers, and IHOP is getting a happy hour.
Our Sarah Costa joins us with more details on these stories. Good morning, Sarah.
Morning, Sarah.
Good morning, and we all love happy hour, correct?
Yeah. But pancakes?
Well, we'll see. But first, Disney is cutting 28,000 jobs as its theme parks take a hit from the coronavirus pandemic. The company said in a statement that the layoffs will affect its parks, experiences, and products. All employees affected by the layoffs are U.S. based. Disney also said that more than 2/3 of them are part-time workers. The company's profits took a nosedive after it was forced to close its theme parks earlier this year. And Nordstrom is changing its policy of selling fur and exotic animal products. The department store says it's teaming up with the Humane Society and a commitment to ban real fur and exotic animal skins in its stores and online. The change takes effect at the end of next year. The new policy won't apply to products derived from animals like cows, pigs, and sheep, but it will not allow stores to carry items that are derived from animals like lizards, snakes, sharks, and kangaroos. And forget happy hour, what about IHOppy hour? Yep, the pancake place is kicking off its own happy hour, but instead of pints, you can get pancakes or any number of things, really. It's a menu that will only be available between 2 and 10 p.m. each day. And the best part, everything on the menu is no more than $6. Mark and Stephanie?
Bad.
Good deal.
Yeah.
Thanks, Sarah. 548.
Let's go ahead and check in with Officer Marcus Trujillo. How's it looking now?
Not too bad, except for one little issue we have on Highway 90. But I do believe the fire department already has it under control. Let's move over here to, there we go. Westbound Highway 90, right before 151, Highway 151, you have Acme Road, and right there, vehicle fire that they're tending to. Other areas, not too bad. Let's take a look outside through TransGuide 37 at Military, still looking great with no problems there. 35 at Thousand Oaks, and then I-10 1604 eastbound and westbound lanes. So far, no issues there.
Thank you, Marcus. And Mike has some furry friends over at the San Antonio Humane Society.
Yeah, these pets over there need some loving homes. Meet Rook, a 2-year-old Terrier American Pit Bull mixed pup, was one of the many pets that were transferred from Louisiana earlier this month ahead of Hurricane Sally. Sweetest little boy, loving, calm personality. Oh, look at that. All right, now meet Philip. You're looking for a sweet little boy. 11-month-old cutie is the one for you. He was found all alone before he arrived at the Humane Society last month. Affectionate little cuddle bug, just wants to sit in your lap. And Krillin, adorable 2-year-old little, look at that one, just lay back. I mean, loves to take naps and play with all his favorite toys and bird watching, don't we all? For more information, please visit the sahumane.org, located at 4804 Fredericksburg Road, 226-7461 for more information.
Mike, do you accidentally reveal your weekend plans?
What?
Napping, bird watching?
Bird watching. Okay.
Nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, everybody's out there going, sounds like a good idea to me.
The best part is on the weekend when you're going.
Not this weekend.
One word, wow. Yes, indeed. That's the best way to sum up not only that picture, but the weather that we're experiencing right now. And a little favor, if you could just turn your camera sideways, please, for these KSAT Connect pictures. But thank you very much for that. And speaking about wow, there is the moon as it's continuing to set. And then, of course, later on tonight, as the sun is setting in the west, the moon at the very same time when it's in the full phase, I should say, it will be coming up in the east. So, yeah, seeing it say goodnight, and then we'll see it say good evening later on. Now, as far as temperatures, yesterday we got down to 53 degrees. That was the coolest temperature since way back on the 30th of April. And the coolest temperature before that was back on the 16th. So this morning we are now down to 52 degrees. That, of course, is the coolest since way back into the middle of April. 50 in Helotes, 42 in Comfort, and 42 also in Bulverde. There's a chance with these temperatures in the low 40s, you could actually dip down into the upper 30s when it's all said and done this morning. Not only do we have dry air down here at the surface, which is why that allows temperatures to get down so cool, and the clear skies, light wind, perfect radiational cooling, and then we don't have anything upstairs in the atmosphere or any moisture either. So really, really dry air up there, and that's why, and yesterday, if you just kind of stood there and just looked up at the sky and it was that intense, vivid blue shade, that's what we're going to be experiencing again today. Tropics, nothing. Once again, no development is forecast by the Hurricane Center for at least the next couple of days. We are hoping to see something try and get going, and there's some long-range computer models that have something that's going to try and get going in the Caribbean and move on in here to give us a chance of rain, but that wouldn't be until maybe Wednesday, Thursday of next week. It's way, way down the road. And so that far down the road, it's kind of wishful thinking. Forecast today, 78 degrees at noon. We're going to see a huge warm up this morning. Temperatures are going to be warming up very, very quickly once that sun gets a little bit higher in the sky, and then we'll top off at 86 degrees. So doing the math real quickly, we gain about 35 degrees. In some cases, almost 40 degrees from the low to the high today. Another beautiful day tomorrow, maybe not quite as cool or chilly, I should say. And then we get into the weekend, just a hint more humidity, so that'll keep low temperatures about 60 or low 60s. Still very nice, lots of sunshine.
We are ready to say goodbye to September.
I think so, but it ended on a nice note, though.
3/4 of the month or the year is over already.
I know. Hard to believe. Thank you, Mike. 5:52, 52 degrees.
And let's take a look at your winning lotto numbers. We have pick 3, 471, Fireball 8. 6702, Fireball 3.
Cash 5 numbers 1, 10, 14, 21, 23. And we have Mega for you 14, 39, 43, 44, 67. The Mega Ball 19, Mega Plier 3. Good luck.
Good morning. Coming up here on GMA, a Wednesday morning, and we'll cover the biggest moments from that blistering battle on the debate stage. President Trump and Joe Biden, of course, facing off for the first time in the 2020 race for the White House. They clashed over the pandemic, race and unrest, and pretty much everything else in a debate full of countless interruptions and deeply personal attacks. Our powerhouse political team will break it all down, and you'll see it right here on GMA.
There are now more options for those wanting to spend time in the great outdoors. Big Bend National Park is expanding its campsite options. Majority of the backcountry campsites include the Chisos Mountains, which will be available to visitors. Rio Grande will be available for overnight river trips as long as you have the proper permits, important part. And remember, you need to make a reservation for your trip. We have all the details online right now at KSAT.com. And a reminder, if you haven't registered to vote, the clock is definitely ticking. The deadline to register is Monday. That's the 5th. Early voting runs Monday the 13th through Friday, October 30th. The general election is Tuesday, November 3rd. To find out how to register or check your voting status right now on our website, go to KSAT.com. You can also take a look at who's on the ballot right here in Bexar County. It's all in our vote section, which is right under the news tab. Just look for Vote 2020. Children constantly watching and learning behaviors, especially from parents. Coming up on our next half hour, we'll show you some simple ways you can model kindness and create a positive environment for your kids. Here's TransGuide as we go to break. You're watching GMSA. Well, many people are continuing to decompress after last night's heated presidential debate. We'll have some of the top moments and how a local family is responding.
And taking a look out with live cam this morning, it is now 51 degrees, a nice cool morning. And actually it's going to warm up quite a bit, but it's still going to be nice. We are very thankful for these temperatures. We're going to check in with Mike in just a bit.
Live from KSAT 12. Good morning, San Antonio starts right now.
And good morning to you. It is Wednesday, and what a way to end the month of September.
I know, we're so lucky. Happy Wednesday. Thanks for joining us. Hope you're having a great week so far. I know I am with these temperatures, right?
Oh, it's unbelievable. And a lot of folks are smiling. And if you were wondering if it could be any cooler than it was yesterday morning, Mike says, yeah, it is.
Well, even last hour we were cooler than yesterday. Yesterday we bottomed out at 53. And then we dropped to 52. Now we are down to 51 degrees. And here's the view now. Nothing as of yet, but in about, 45 minutes, we'll start to see that beautiful orange glow of the sunrise. And it's going to be a picture perfect one again. So 51 right now in town, 42 Bulverde, 42 in Comfort. And these two areas, well, even Bernie Stage at 43. There's a chance, because we've got such dry air, light wind, clear skies, that before the sun really starts to come up and warm things up in the next few hours, that you could actually drop down in some of the low-lying areas, drop down into the upper 30s up to the north and to the northwest. Throughout the rest of today, we may actually drop even a little bit below 51 at the rate we're going, but right around 7 o'clock, 51 degrees, and then huge warm up this morning. Temperatures, you're going to watch the thermometer warm up throughout the morning hours, make it up to 78 at noon, and then we top off at 86 later on today. So about a 35 degree, or in some cases even more than that, warm up. We're going to stay very nice for the next couple of mornings. Not as cool tomorrow morning, and then that's going to be kind of the trend, but still really, really nice weather all the way through the weekend. More on that coming up in just a couple of minutes. Time saver traffic right now, and Marcus is working on getting all the details on this accident, which that appears to be, 1604 and right around Bitters?
We're getting multiple calls. First call was for 1604 and Military, but being Military Drive over by Culebra Road. Then it was 1604 Northwest Military Highway, and now it's being reported as 1604 at Bitters for a head-on collision. So watch for a number of emergency vehicles responding to that accident. As soon as we get more details about this, we'll bring it straight to you. Mark and Stephanie?
Marcus, thank you, sir. They went through a lot of effort, but it seems a couple of burglars left empty-handed. San Antonio police say a passerby interrupted their break-in at an ATM on the city's north side.
Our Katrina Weber is live in the 2300 block of Northwest Military with that story. Now, Katrina, we understand you have new information about the truck those burglars were using.
That's right. Officers here were able to confirm that they have found that truck over on the west side of town near Marbach Road. The burglars, though, they had already run off, but they did so without any cash, apparently. This machine is the one they broke into here in the 2300 block of Northwest Military. You can see that the front of that is ripped off, but the safe inside is intact, according to police. Those burglars didn't get in and get any cash, and they say that is due to the observancy of a passerby who noticed what was happening and called 911 right away. That man was delivering gasoline down the street at a gas station. He says he noticed something that looked a bit unusual. He told us that he saw two guys, one with a chain wrapped around the machine and the other with a crowbar. They appeared to be breaking in, so he did what he was supposed to. He called 911. Police got here, and again, those burglars were able to get away. The truck now recovered over on the west side of town, but the burglars, empty-handed, are still on the run, according to police. Reporting live on the north side, Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
Thanks, Katrina. New this morning, a detention deputy with the Bexar County Sheriff's Office is now under arrest. Sheriff Javier Salazar announced the arrest just after midnight last night.
Our Sarah Costa joins us this morning with the latest on this story. And Sarah, has Sheriff Salazar released the name of that deputy?
Yes, they have released the name of that deputy. It's 48-year-old Sherman Andrews, and he is the one who has been with Bexar County Sheriff's Office since 2017. He was arrested at his home last night without incident and has been placed on administrative leave with no pay. According to Sheriff Javier Salazar, the arrest is in connection with an in-custody suicide attempt that happened around 3 p.m. on Monday. The inmate was found with a sheet around his neck and unresponsive. As of this morning, the 48-year-old inmate is still alive after he was transported in critical condition to an area hospital. Sheriff Salazar says the deputy falsified a report on a cell check where a prisoner attempted to hang himself in a cell.
It appears, from what it appears now, he did not perform complete checks on the inmate around the time of when we found him attempting suicide. However, he did indicate on his logs that he had completed the checks.
The sheriff says the deputy in question, Deputy Sherman Andrews, is now charged with tampering with government documents. At this time, the sheriff's office has not provided us with his mugshot. Sheriff Salazar says he is not happy about the situation. However, he is proud his deputies stepped up to do what needed to be done. Mark and Stephanie.
Thank you, Sarah. 6:05 right now. San Antonio police asking for your help solving a murder from 2017. This is the victim. You're looking at 31-year-old Christopher Lozano. Police say he was shot outside his home in the 3500 block of El Paso Street. He died at a local hospital.
Police are also trying to solve a murder case from 2009. They say a friend found 31-year-old Evaristo Sierra dead from a gunshot wound at a home in the 12,000 block of Maverick Bluff. If you have any information on either of these cases, you're asked to call Crime Stoppers. That number, 210-224-STOP.
The first presidential debate deteriorated quickly last night, with both candidates launching personal attacks against one another. President Trump, in particular, repeatedly interrupting Joe Biden and moderator Chris Wallace. At times, both candidates responded to questions asked by Wallace, which ranged from the Supreme Court, tax returns, to the integrity of the election results. Wallace asked both candidates if they would accept the outcome of the election, even if no winner is declared on election night.
If it's a fair election, I am 100% on board. I will accept it, and he will too.
In our next half hour at GMSA, we will see more of the top moments from last night's first debate.
Here at home, one San Antonio family has made many people driving by their home take a second look at their bipartisan yard. The house is on San Antonio Avenue, and here you can see several signs for both President Donald Trump and former Vice President Joe Biden. They say they support different parties, but it's all about getting along and having respect for each other during disagreements.
At the end of the day, we all go to sleep the same way. And at the beginning of the day, we all put our pants on the same way.
We're all entitled to our own expressions and opinions. And at the end of the day, that is my nephew. And we sit down to dinner, he's still my nephew, even though, we'll argue a little bit of the, what's going on, that's part of it.
And at the end of the debate, both family members say they were pleased with their candidate's performance.
Local health officials reporting 262 new cases of COVID-19 in Bexar County and 5 new deaths. Mayor Ron Nierenberg says 207 backlog cases have been added to the overall total. Right now, the 7-day moving average is 178 cases per day. Interim Metro Health Director Dr. Colleen Bridger says the city's warning indicators are still moving in the right direction despite the increase in cases. However, she's warning everyone in Bexar County to keep their guard up and continue to wear their masks and socially distance.
The annual Raul Jimenez Thanksgiving dinner will still happen this year, but not in person. The San Antonio tradition has welcomed thousands of people to share a holiday meal for 40 years, but this year organizers say they plan to deliver meals to 10,000 seniors and those who are homeless. Volunteers will still be needed, but this time to help deliver those meals on Thanksgiving Day. Volunteer registration is expected to open sometime in October.
In California, at least 68,000 people evacuating 2 California counties because of a fast-growing wildfire. Officials say the fires in Napa and Sonoma counties, the famed wine-growing region, burned more than 42,000 acres in one day. That is 96 times the size of the University of Texas at Austin. So far, 5 people have been arrested for entering evacuation zones. CAL FIRE currently says only 2% of the fires contained, and there are 22 other wildfires around the state still burning.
50 firefighters from the San Antonio and Austin fire departments will help on the front lines of the wildfires in Northern California. 2 planes took off yesterday with the firefighters on board. They will be in California for the next 2 or 3 weeks. The group is part of a team of 170 firefighters from around the state of Texas to help fight those wildfires.
New this morning, we've learned that country music star and songwriter Mac Davis has passed away. Davis's manager says the legendary entertainer died following heart surgery. The country music icon first found fame writing the hits A Little Less Conversation and In the Ghetto for Elvis Presley. Davis made his debut as a country artist with the 1970 album Song Painter. His breakthrough album Baby Don't Get Hooked on Me was released 2 years later. Mac Davis was 78 years old.
Time now is 6:10 and 51 degrees.
We've already heard about the guidelines for celebrating Thanksgiving, and now CDC giving tips on how to celebrate Dia de los Muertos. We'll have those coming up a little later on.
The Halloween season is upon us, but could COVID actually scare it off the calendar? I'm Katrina Weber. I'll have that story.
And taking a look outside with live cam, it's a nice 51 degrees, but you will need a jacket this morning, and you'll probably lose it later today because it's going to warm up, but it's still going to be nice, so enjoy. We're going to check in with Mike in just a bit.
Onward to the afterlife.
It's all fun and games for this glowing-eyed guy with Halloween ahead. But based on business at some costume stores, it seems others may not be ready to celebrate yet.
I've talked to other people with other stores, and they're saying scheduling about 30% less.
Lynn Saunders started dressing up her Hocus Pocus shop on Austin Highway back in January. Like others in the business, she expected big things this Halloween.
It falls on a Saturday, it's a full moon, and it's daylight savings.
Scary times, though, came early this year in the form of the coronavirus.
Infection area ahead.
Chasing away some customers and putting a chill on trick-or-treating.
Probably not this year. Right, Judith? Not this year? Because of the COVID?
We'll still dress up and everything, but we won't go out on the streets, no. Get some candy, play some games, stay at home, close to home, because I think it's safer that way.
For those who are still in the spirit, though, it has sparked a creative streak. Some are designing ways to give out candy social distance style. Precautions are still a priority. Masks are always part of the season, and this year even more so thanks to COVID. But the CDC says it's not a good idea to double up. Instead, wear only a Halloween-themed face mask to stay safe. Back at her family shop, Saunders is hoping for success.
This is San Antonio. Everybody loves to party. They find a way to do it safely.
She's holding out for a pleasant October surprise. Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
And the National Costume Association has put together some tips for staying safe while celebrating Halloween during the pandemic. For more information, you can go to halloween2020.org.
Right now at 6:15, let's see where the backups are on the roads with Officer Marcus Trujillo.
And right now, as we take a look at the roadways, we have that major accident. Sarah Costa's on the way to try to get some additional details about this accident. We have the westbound access road of 1604 there at Northwest Military Highway. So it's been reported at numerous locations. We're finally seeing on the traffic flow where that slowdown is. So as soon as we can get some additional details about this collision, we'll bring them straight to you.
All right, something to watch out for.
Also on the lookout for temperatures in the mid-40s in some places, Mike?
Low 40s in some places.
Wow.
And dusting off a graphic haven't used in a while.
Okay.
Any ideas?
Well, not the school bus.
No, school bus we've
yeah, I mean,
used.
so it can't be that.
You want to warm up your car maybe a little bit with temperatures down in the mid to lower 40s in parts of the hill country. 51 this morning. That's where we're at right now. And then after school today, 86 degrees high temperature, about normal, and roughly a 35-degree temperature swing from the low to the high. In some areas, going to see temperature swings even, say, about 40 degrees today. All right, beautiful, beautiful picture there along the Riverwalk again. If you could turn your camera sideways, please, but nice reflection of that large tree in the San Antonio River. It's a great shot. Thank you very much. Beautiful day to take a walk on the river. Just take a walk around and enjoy this fantastic. The air is so nice. Open up the windows and just enjoy it. So we're not seeing the glow yet of the sunrise. Should be in about maybe 15, 20 minutes or so. Okay, finishing up the month of September. And the kind of yellowish and golden colored days, those are the days we did not have any rain. Now, trace amounts are technically not measurable rain. You have to have at least 1/100th of an inch of rain, but at least there was something out there on those days. But we finished up the month at 3.09. That's going with today as well, because we're not going to get any rain today. So just 0.03 of an inch above average, which obviously is fantastic news. But it's been a while since we've actually had any rain, since back on the 21st. And we're going to continue this streak all the way through at least the first week of October until there's the slightest chance to see any rain around here. All right, wind right now. In most places, there isn't any breeze to deal with, but where there's a little bit of wind, we do have some temperatures. So we're at 52 right now in New Braunfels, 51 here in town, and there might be a hint of a wind chill to deal with in, say, out there toward Ozona. So once you get below 50, the wind chill, the formulas come into play, and obviously not much out there, but yeah, that's we're maybe starting to dust off that map a little bit. That's not going to be the case the next couple of days, but I just had to kind of throw that one in there with these cool temperatures. So the high pressure and a combination with this low up there just to the south of Hudson Bay, that's keeping us in this nice northwesterly flow. We will start to warm up. Tomorrow's going to be upper 80s, close to 90, and some low 90s around the area. Then we get a little bit of a kind of another little push of some coolish air in here just to hold temperatures in check to keep us from getting too hot. And that'll be the case Saturday. And then we go up a little bit Sunday and then back down again in toward the first of the week. So this northwesterly airflow is going to remain in place through at least about the middle of next week. It's going to hold temperatures in check, although lows will be going up just a little bit going in toward the weekend. 78 today at noon, sunny skies, and then a high temperature today up to 86. Beautiful, beautiful day. Open up the windows. Tomorrow, another chilly one, not quite as cool. And then we get up to 88 in the afternoon, a lot of low 90s. But that's kind of held in check. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, back up to the upper 80s, close to 90. That then is held in check with a little bit of a front moving on through here.
And I know it'll be close to 90, but I like that you don't even touch it on your 7-day forecast.
And the nice thing is, though, too, the humidity is going to be kind of held down a little bit as well. This weekend, a little bit more, it's keeping us at 60, but, nothing to complain about at all.
Even better.
Yeah, that helps, definitely.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mike. Right now, we're at 620, 51 degrees.
And the heiress to the Seagram's liquor fortune could be sentenced to 5 years in prison today. We're going to learn more about her involvement in a sex cult in today's GMA First Look.
Here's your secret word of the day. Enter it on KSAT.com/Circle K for a monthly chance to win free gas for a year. Every entry wins a medium coffee. Win with Circle K and GMSA.
Chances are you have some questions right now. Here are a couple answers. Lysol disinfectant spray and Lysol disinfecting wipes together can be used on over 100 surfaces and kill up to 99.9% of germs. Lysol, what it takes to protect.
Imagine helping their teeth become 4 times stronger, preventing cavities up to 40%. Act Kids Fluoride Rinse. Stop imagining. Start acting. And get anti-cavity protection with our dye-free ice formulas.
In this morning's GMA First Look, sentencing day for the Seagram's heiress. Claire Bronfman, heiress to the Seagram's liquor fortune, is appearing in court, set to be sentenced for her role inside the so-called cult NXIVM. According to prosecutors, the 41-year-old, whose father, a philanthropist and former beverage tycoon, was worth billions before his passing, quote, used her extraordinary wealth and social status to fund and promote a criminal enterprise led by NXIVM founder Keith Raniere.
Why is it that I can have a relationship with multiple women for a long time?
Prosecutors say Raniere, who is the focus of HBO documentary The Vow, was a con man and a predator who took advantage of women, allegedly recruiting some into a secret society within the group to be his slaves and have sex with him. And coming up at 7 a.m., we'll have more details from court, plus why Claire Bronfman still supports NXIVM founder Keith Raniere. With your GMA First Look, I'm Mona Kosar-Abdi, ABC News, New York.
Trending right now on our website at KSAT.com, CDC issuing guidelines to celebrate Dia de los Muertos. The CDC broke down activities into 3 risk levels. Low-risk activities include cooking family recipes and delivering them to family, as well as decorating altars and virtual celebrations. Moderate risk include outdoor parades, visiting cemeteries, and hosting small dinners. The CDC says you should avoid large celebrations with singing or chanting and avoid large dinner parties.
And if you want to celebrate Halloween, we have a list of all the haunted houses open around San Antonio and Austin. There are 6 locations open, but only 2 actually inside the Alamo City. Those are the 13th floor and Ripley's Haunted Adventure. We're going to have the links on our website to order tickets to those haunted houses.
And if it sounds like we jumped the gun, we didn't. Tomorrow's October 1st.
That's right.
625, 51 degrees.
And we heard now the presidential candidates responded to the question of election integrity, but we will let you know how they responded to other questions in our next half hour.
And this week in our series, KSAT Explains, we look into one of the oldest housing projects in the entire country. We're going to take a look at what is ahead, the future for the Alazan Apache courts.
And taking a look out with TransGuide this morning, there's a look at 35 and Schwab Road. Of course, our Sarah Costa is headed to an accident on 1604. We'll have the latest in our next half hour.
They got close but got no cash. Good morning, I'm Katrina Weber. That's what police say about some burglars who hit this Northside ATM. They say they found out about the case thanks to a passerby. I'll tell you more about it.
And coming up, the first presidential debate this election is in the books. I'm Andrew Dimbert in Washington, D.C., recapping the latest.
And outside with live cam, you may not be able to tell, but it's been a beautiful moonlit night. You definitely need to find the fleece this morning. You will need a jacket. Good morning, everybody. Let's wrap up the month of September. It is the 30th. Good Wednesday morning to you.
Thanks for joining us. Yes, goodbye, September. And I did grab the jacket, but, you know, I think I'm going to lose it later this afternoon.
How much of a warm up later on today? Pretty radical change, right, Mike?
Yeah, one of the, usually when you say about a 30-degree warm up, that's a lot. We're going to be about 35, in some cases warming up 40 degrees in some parts of the area. And is it my imagination or things trying to lighten up a little bit there along the horizon, maybe pushing things slightly? The sun's going to be coming up in about an hour, maybe in about 15 minutes or so. We'll start to see that early morning glow. 51 degrees in town. Yeah, like Mark was saying, fleece is a good idea this morning. Dew points down to 39. Bone dry air is in place. Down to 41 right now in Bulverde. 43 Bernie Stage Comfort. So there's a chance that some of those spots may actually dip in, and some of the low-lying areas may dip into the upper 30s. Out in the hill country, maybe upper 30s in your backyard right now. Port Say, Stinson, Randolph, all at 49. And just fantastic weather. Clear, cool, wonderful. And today, sunny, mid and some upper 80s. Fantastic day. Tomorrow, Another chilly start and then another beautiful day. Maybe not quite as cool. Still jacket weather tomorrow. And then low temperatures will creep up ever so slightly as we go in toward the weekend. Some of the high temperatures will as well. But overall, just fantastic in through the first weekend of October. Details coming up in just a couple of minutes. Time saver traffic right now. And looks like there's a lot of our wonderful folks in blue up on the northwest side taking care of an accident. And Officer Marcus Trujillo.
That's going to be up here, Mike. The 1604 Northwest Military Highway. So we're looking at the access road of westbound 1604 just as you're approaching Northwest Military Highway for a head-on collision. And that's where we have a number of emergency vehicles out there clearing that access. As soon as we can get that cleared up, we can open up some additional lanes for travel once again. Mark and Stephanie.
Thank you, Marcus. Let's get to some breaking news. San Antonio police say they have found a truck used in an overnight ATM break-in. Officers tracked down that pickup truck about an hour ago over on the west side of town.
Our Katrina Weber is live on the north side where the break-in happened in the 2300 block of Northwest Military. Now, Katrina, have police had any luck finding the burglars themselves?
No, they say that those men got away, but I think it's a pretty safe bet that they will be going through that truck looking for whatever clues they can find to help them track down those burglars. Now, they finished their investigation here just within the last 10 minutes. The ATM here now all roped off with a lot of damage. This is how police found it about 4:30 this morning. They got a call from a passerby who noticed some unusual activity. That man was delivering gas nearby. He told us that he saw two guys here, one with a crowbar, the other with a chain wrapped around this machine. And he decided to call police because it just didn't sit right with him. Police got here, they found the machine had been broken into, but they say that the burglars did not get to the portion of the machine where the cash is kept. So they went away empty-handed. And they did go away quickly because of that passerby who saw them and called police. And again, they did track down the truck that was being used. They apparently had been trying to yank this open with the truck and the chain. And they did track down that truck over on Marbach Road near Loop 410. But again, it was empty. The burglars were gone, but police will be processing that for evidence. Reporting live on the north side, Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
New this morning, a detention deputy with the Bexar County Sheriff's Office was arrested overnight. Sheriff Javier Salazar says this arrest is in connection with an in-custody suicide attempt that happened Monday. Sheriff Salazar tells us 40-year-old Deputy Sherman Andrews falsified a report on a cell check where a prisoner attempted to hang himself. Salazar says Andrews admitted that he lied on the report, and he's now facing charges of tampering with government documents.
The medical examiner's office has identified the man who was killed in his Northside home that led to a police standoff on Monday as 47-year-old Jorge Rodriguez. Sheriff's deputies were called to the 25,000 block of Whistling Acres on Monday when a neighbor found him with multiple stab wounds. Now, Rodriguez's 25-year-old son, Christian Rodriguez, barricaded himself inside the home with a knife when deputies arrived. Negotiators and a mental health unit contacted Rodriguez, who suffers from mental health issues. He eventually surrendered to authorities. He is facing murder charges in connection to his father's death.
6:34 right now. The first presidential debate is in the books, and many voters left scratching their heads. Much of the debate consisted of interruptions and personal attacks.
Issues took a back seat, and not even the moderator seemed able to keep it in control. ABC's Andrew Dimbert has more.
Debate night in America.
Gentlemen, a lot of people have been waiting for this night.
The coronavirus making this one unlike any other in U.S. history. The candidates socially distanced. There were no handshakes, but plenty of political punches.
The question is, Justice, radical left. Will you shut up, man? Listen, who is on your list?
President Donald Trump and Joe Biden struggled throughout the night to break through and make their pitch to voters. The debate derailed at several turns. The questions often sidelined and unanswered. And as expected, things got nasty. Biden and Trump slinging insults.
You're the worst president America has ever had. Hey, Come Joe, on. There's nothing smart about you, Joe.
The president unleashing a barrage of attacks on Biden, interrupting him and moderator Chris Wallace repeatedly.
Of Obamacare, I got rid of it.
I'd like you
and
to,
we will protect
Mr.
people
President,
with
I'm the moderator of this debate, and I would like you to let me ask my question.
I guess I'm debating you, not him, but that's okay.
Trump and Biden also at odds over the response to the COVID crisis.
If we would have listened to you, the country would have been left wide open. Millions of people would have died, not 200,000. Look, You folks at home, how many of you got up this morning and had an empty chair at the kitchen table because someone died of COVID?
And on race relations and nationwide protests, when pressed to condemn white supremacist groups, the president wavered.
What are you saying? I'm willing to do anything. I want to see peace.
Then do it, sir.
Say it. Do it. Say it. Do you want to call him? What do you want to call him? Give me a name. Give me a
White
name.
supremacists and
Who would
white
you like me to condemn?
White supremacists and white
Proud Boys, stand back and stand by.
And the night ended on the topic of election integrity. Wallace asking both Trump and Biden if they would hold off on declaring victory until the results of the election are independently certified. President Trump deflected. Biden, meanwhile, says he will accept the outcome of this election even if he does not win. Andrew Dimbert, ABC News, Washington.
And right now at KSAT.com, resources to help you get a better understanding of last night's debate. See some fact checks on some of the statements the candidates made. You can also find more of the takeaways from the first debate.
And remember, the deadline to register to vote in Texas is quickly approaching. You have until October 5th to register in order to be able to vote in the November election. That's this upcoming Monday, so you can find resources on how to register on KSAT.com's Vote 2020 page. And remember, early voting begins on October 13th. San Antonio is home to one of the oldest public housing complexes in the country, the Alazan Apache Courts, but the future of the courts is in limbo thanks to plans for redevelopment.
Those plans include a couple of mixed income developments that are planned. Plans and the controversy surrounding them are the topic of this week's episode of KSAT Explains.
As part of a preview, Myra Arthur breaks down the reason we've seen a shift away from public housing and toward mixed income over the past several years.
The U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development is moving away from creating communities like the Alazan Apache Courts that have such a high concentration of public housing units.
We look to do now mixed income. And so now you've got a wide variety of income levels living on the same property with the same quality units and modern amenities that are given to you and I.
Mixed income means some tenants pay the market rate rent, while others pay a percentage of that rate based on their income. It's an idea that came about in the 1970s and 80s.
And one of the ideas that gains a lot of traction is that a lot of these social problems were due to what we today call isolated poverty or concentrated poverty. Right? And so it said that, so the thinking was that because the poor and low income had begun to live fairly isolated from areas of middle class or of wealth, they no longer shared some of the social values of kind of middle class society. And so this kind of what in the literature is called delinquency had set in.
Saha sees the idea as one that creates opportunity. Mixed income development also serves another purpose: revenue. Saha says it doesn't receive enough money from the federal government to sustain public housing and keep it maintained. There's also a boost in it for developers. They get tax incentives to build mixed income properties.
The states award these tax incentives. And it is about trying to incent private developers, because it's really not in their best interest to build at these rates because there's just no profit. There's no profit margin. So how do we get them to do it? Is that we have to subsidize it somehow.
So the question is, do mixed income developments solve the problems they were created to address? Decades after the concept came about, the answer still being looked at.
That's really been shown not to happen, right? Instead, we're still plagued with intergenerational poverty.
Myra Arthur, KSAT 12 News.
And KSAT Explains, the battle over Alazan Apache Courts will be available to stream on demand starting tomorrow. You can watch on the KSAT TV app, on Roku, Fire Stick, and most other smart TV devices.
640, 51 degrees.
And after the break, we're going to learn about ways to be a good example for your kids so they grow up to be more kind.
It's exactly 6:44 on your Wednesday morning. You may have heard the phrase, kids are like sponges. That's because young children are constantly watching, learning behaviors, soaking up information like a sponge with water.
And most definitely. So parents, the more good deeds you practice in front of your children, the more they will notice and start to mirror those same moves. RJ Marquez shares a few simple ways to model kindness.
Setting good examples for your kids is one way to teach them manners and respect. It doesn't have to be much, since a little gesture goes a long way.
According to Parents.com, experts say your children are always watching your every move. As you practice good behavior in front of them, they will begin to notice and even mirror your actions. Setting a good example for them can be as simple as holding the door open for others at the store. This simple gesture can show your kids you care about others. Another way is to pay it forward. You can pay for someone's order in the drive-thru or offer to help someone with their groceries. You can also drop change into a tip jar, donate old books and games to those in need, or volunteer in your community. In the end, experts say your children learn the most by watching you. And taking a few seconds out of your day to do something kind for someone else can leave a lasting impact. RJ Marcus, KSAT 12 News.
6:45.
Let's go ahead and check traffic with Officer Marcus Trujillo. How's that accident looking?
Well, we're getting some additional traffic backed up on the access road, and it looks like now on the main lanes as well. Westbound 1604 up there Northwest Military Highway area. So expect some long delays, and just had someone walk in the studio there, says that they had difficulty getting out of their subdivision due to that major accident. So probably going to be with us a little while longer. So plan accordingly, and if you must leave, you probably want to call ahead and let them know that you're going to be running late this morning. 10 to 1604, so far no issues there. Moving over to 37 in Pecan Valley, you can see travel north and south along 37. Still looks pretty good.
Thank you, Marcus. And Mike begins in the beautiful city of New Braunfels.
Yep, and everybody, including the deer outside, enjoying the beautiful, beautiful weather yesterday. And what a great day just to sit outside and watch for deer and watch the sunrise. Look at how gorgeous that is. Yes, it is going to be just spectacularly beautiful this morning. And as far as the allergens, still got a lot of mold hanging around here. That should continue to drop down. It had gone up yesterday compared to the previous day's reading, but with the air is so dry and we're continuing to dry out, that should drop down. Ragweed, moderate, pigweed, and fall elm are showing up a little bit. So humidity, dew point temperatures, the measure of moisture in the atmosphere, very, very low. We're down in the 40s, 30s, 20s even, some really bone dry air. And so that allows, along with clear skies and light wind, that allows temperatures to drop down. And that's why we're so much below normal right now, the coolest air since mid-April. And we are going to be seeing still low humidity around here over the next, or the rest of today. Now, the next couple of days, the dew points are going to continue to creep up a little bit. Not anything really humid, just not as dry as what it is right now. And you can't drop below what the dew point temperature is. So as these dew points go up, low temperatures are going to be staying a little bit milder. So today, low 50s, mid 50s tomorrow. And then by the weekend, we're going to be right around 60 or the low 60s for low temperatures. Still very comfortable, but just, again, not as crisp and cool as what it is now. But then notice that little dip right there. So we're going to have a couple of very slight fronts, best way to describe it, I guess, coming on through here, and that will trim some of the humidity and also keep temperatures in check. Now, we will see temperatures go up a little bit in the next few days. We'll be up into the upper 80s, close to 90 tomorrow. Then that gets trimmed off somewhat. Then starts to rebound into Sunday. That gets trimmed off a little bit as well. Around the country, I mean, as far as what's in store for us, look off to the west, and there's nothing out there. Notice this big northwesterly flow here with the clouds up to the north. That is what is keeping things so nice around here. And that overall pattern, with the minor changes here and there, is going to remain in place for the rest of the week, into the weekend, and going into the first part of next week. The downside to this, and you got to mention, you can't avoid it, the fact that we don't have any rain. We haven't had rain since about maybe 10 days ago around here, anything really significant. There is some hope, though, that we're going to be seeing a bit of a low try to move on in here from the Gulf of Mexico, even though it'll stay down to the south of us. This is long range thinking as of right now that this would give us a chance of rain, but again, not until the latter part of next week. So very dry. I guess if you can't have any rain, might as well have just fantastic weather. And that's what's on tap today. 78 degrees at noon, sunny skies, high temperature up to 86. Which we'll see a couple of upper 80s around the area. A little bit warmer tomorrow. It gets trimmed down somewhat by Friday. Warm back up over the weekend to the upper 80s. That gets trimmed off as well. Notice the low temperatures will stay in the low 60s this weekend. Perfect coffee on the back deck or patio kind of weather. So not quite as cool, but still really nice.
But I like that we don't actually see the 90s on your
right. Some folks in Rio Grande Valley will probably see a couple of 90s, maybe even today, tomorrow, but most of us will stay upper 80s.
We've got it pretty good right now.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mike. Right now, we're at 649, 51 degrees.
And a record number of Latinos are attending college. Tomorrow on GMSA, we're going to see how the National Hispanic Institute of San Antonio is helping the influx of students graduate.
The sun is working its way up. Let's take a peek with live cam. The news you need to know before you go, and more time saver traffic updates still to come.
Good morning. Coming up here on GMA, a Wednesday morning, and we'll cover the biggest moments from that blistering battle on the debate stage. President Trump and Joe Biden, of course, facing off for the first time in the 2020 race for the White House. They clashed over the pandemic, race and unrest, and pretty much everything else in a debate full of countless interruptions and deeply personal attacks. Our powerhouse political team will break it all down, and you'll see it right here on GMA.
It's a burglary interrupted here on the north side of town. Good morning, I'm Katrina Weber. Police say a passerby may be the reason some burglars took off after trying to break into this ATM. This happened about 4:30 this morning. That passerby told us that he saw two men, one with a crowbar, the other wrapping a chain around this machine here in the 2300 block of Northwest Military. He called police. They got here quickly. The burglars, though, had taken off. Police say that they did not get inside the machine despite all the damage. The cash is still inside. They were not able to get into that portion of the machine. Police, about an hour later, did track down the pickup that was involved, but they say that the people who were inside took off. Reporting from the north side, Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
A detention deputy with the Bexar County Sheriff's Office was arrested overnight. Sheriff Salazar says the arrest is in connection with an in-custody suicide attempt that happened Monday. Sheriff Salazar tells us 40-year-old deputy Sherman Andrews falsified a report on a cell check where a prisoner attempted to hang himself. Salazar says Andrews admitted that he lied on the report. He's now facing charges of tampering with government documents. Well, coming up today on GMSA at 9, Katie Blake teaching us how to make salt crystal leaves.
So for this experiment, you're going to need one full box of salt, pipe cleaners or fall leaves, a couple of clothespins, yarn, and mason jars. And this experiment does require boiling water, so kids should not do this one alone.
See how it works. Join us today at 9 for Katie's Science Lab.
Let's go ahead and take one last look at traffic, especially there on 1604. Mark?
That's right. That major accident up there is still causing problems now. That backup is getting worse. So we're looking at westbound 1604, the access road as well as the main lanes. And take a look. As I get out of the way there, you can see traffic backed up past Huebner Road. Still going to be with us at least for another hour, if not longer. Mike?
Thank you very much, sir. And temperatures, we actually went up just one notch in the past hour, now at 52 degrees, but Valverde and even Kerrville down to 41 right now. So in some of those low-lying areas up in the hill country, you may be down in the upper 30s as of right now. But look at this. Does it look like it's even more intense and glowing today than it was yesterday? We have such bone dry air out there right now, and it is just going to be spectacular. We're going to hold on this picture. We'll make it up to 86 degrees. So we're going to be warming up about 35 degrees today. The next couple of days, we will be up into the upper 80s, a couple of low 90s out there tomorrow. Then those numbers get kind of trimmed a little bit, held in check somewhat. Low temperatures will still be chilly tomorrow, but we'll stay in the low 60s over the weekend. A beautiful looking weekend and just spectacular today.
Not only feels like fall, looks like fall.
Yep.
And we are happy with that. Thanks for joining us today.
See you back here at 9.